one more.
Okay.
From Diaz Martinez.
Good morning, Your Honor. I would ask you to waive the formal reading and not to please be entered on his behalf. I did explain all the charges to him.
And he is aware of the charges?
He is.
So, Mr. Diaz Martinez, you do have the right to be represented by a lawyer. If you cannot afford one, the court can appoint one. Are you asking for the court to appoint a lawyer, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe I have.
You would like to officially appoint Attorney Rosenbaum? You do qualify. There would be a fee of $250 on that appointment.
Amen Khalifa. So you're here on docket 1820, CR 1925.
Your Honor, if I may, I'd ask that the reading be waived. I've explained the charges to the defendant. He is aware of them, Your Honor. I'd ask that not guilty please be entered.
And Mr. Khalifa, you also have the right to be represented by a lawyer, and if you cannot afford one, the court can appoint one. Are you asking for the court to appoint a lawyer in your case as well?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you do qualify, there will be no fee on that appointment. And Attorney Joshua would be for bail purposes only. We would need a Rule 8 attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Shepherd, please.
Austin Shepard.
Good morning, Your Honor. We would ask that you waive the formal reading and enter not guilty on Mr. Shepard's behalf. I have spoken with him and explained the charges.
He has
He
two
has
dockets.
two cases.
Correct. I've explained both to him.
Okay, and Mr. Shepherd, you also do have the right to be represented by a lawyer, and if you cannot afford one, the court can appoint one. Are you asking for the court to appoint a lawyer, sir?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So you need to fully tell me your name. And it appears that you also qualified, and there would also be a fee of $250. And that would be on the home invasion docket.
Okay.
And on the unarmed robbery docket, the minimum fee of $150 would be assessed.
Okay.
And then both of those CPCS would be appointed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So Commonwealth, I will hear you on the question of bail on all three.
Yes, Your Honor, I have filed a 58A dangerousness, Your Honor. I am asking that all three of these individuals be held without the right pending a hearing. Your Honor, with regards to Mr. Khalifa and with regards to Mr. Shepard, they both have pending cases out of other district courts. I believe Mr. Shepard has another case here at Chicopee as well, which he's not been weighing on. I'd ask that those all just go to the hearing date for the dangerousness.
I would do the motions to revoke release today, because those are dealing with the Springfield cases that they have open.
Yes,
So
sir.
I will deal with those today, and then we'll look at the other issue. So I'll hear you in regard to Mr. Shepard.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll start with Mr. Shepard. Your Honor, that's docket 18201713. Your Honor, the facts of that case are that on October 22nd, 2018, Officers were dispatched to the River Valley Counseling Center located at 249 Exchange Street for an unarmed robbery. Officers did meet with the named victim. The victim stated that he knew this individual as being Zach. He stated that Zach approached him. He believed that he had dope on him. He at that point attempted to rip the victim's book bag from his person. A struggle did ensue. He did threaten that he had a weapon, a firearm, Your Honor. However, he did not show it. During the scuffle, the victim dropped his cell phone and the defendant took his bag. Officers were able later to link this back to the defendant, that defendant being Mr. Shepard. The victim was able to speak with some friends, identified some pictures off of Facebook, and that's the way he was able to identify the individual, his name not being Zach, but instead being Mr. Austin Shepard. Essentially, those are the facts of that case, Your Honor. Your Honor, I am seeking on this case a $10,000 cash bail. The defendant does have an open case out of the Springfield District Court, that being docket 18-233950. He's charged in that case with carrying a dangerous weapon, that weapon being a firearm, carrying ammunition with ammunition loaded without a FAD card, Your Honor. He also has discharging the firearm within 500 feet of a building. This is open pending case in Springfield, Your Honor. Given the facts of this case, Your Honor, given the new charges brought against the defendant in his open case for weapons out of Springfield, Your Honor, I am asking that you adopt a $10,000 recommendation. I'm also asking that you revoke this bail for 90 days on the Springfield case.
Good morning, Your Honor. We would ask that you deny the Commonwealth's motion to revoke Mr. Shepard's bail, as well as deny their request for $10,000 cash bail. As Your Honor is aware, in order to revoke a defendant's bail, there needs to be probable cause for a new offense. We would not argue against that today. However, I do believe that there are things that could be put in place to ensure the community's safety. And speaking with Mr. Shepard, he has lived in the Springfield, Holyoke, Chicopee area for his entire life. He went to high school here. He currently lives with his dad, and he helps take care of his grandmother. I believe that there are conditions that could be put in place to ensure the community's safety, such as checking in with probation, ordering a stay away from the alleged victim in this case. There's been nothing to indicate that Mr. Shepard would not be able to comply with those conditions. As to the $10,000, Mr. Shepard, the last grade that he finished in high school was 9th grade. He is not currently employed as he's helping to take care of his grandmother. $10,000 is something that he absolutely cannot afford. It would be tantamount to holding him. And so I would ask that you deny the request for $10,000.
So what is your request?
ROR? Yes, ROR, please.
And so, Commonwealth, also in regard to your motion to revoke his release out of Springfield, you also had on there, on your motion, the new case, the home invasion.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I need you to give me the facts on that one. Just a general synopsis of the facts if possible.
The most recent, yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, again, the defendant, Mr. Khalif, does have an open Springfield case. That's docket 1823.
I might have Mr. Shepard, I'm sorry. So Mr. Shepard's motion to revoke his Springfield case
Yes.
had the two dockets. You
Yes,
gave me
ma'am.
the facts of the unarmed robbery. Did you give me the facts on the home invasion as well?
No, Your Honor, I haven't given you the facts on the home invasion. The first one I gave you was the unarmed robbery, which is docket the 1713. So if Your Honor would like the home invasion.
Yes, and those would be the facts that would also pertain to Mr. Khalifa as well on his motion to revoke.
That is correct, Your Honor.
But I'll hear the facts on this.
Your Honor, with regards to the home invasion for Mr. Shepard, his docket is 18-201923. The facts of that case, Your Honor, that on December 3rd of 2018, officers were called for reports of a home invasion here in the city of Chicopee on Plant Circle. Officers did respond to that call, Your Honor. Essentially, the defendant stated that he was in his apartment with an individual by the name of Austin. Austin, Your Honor, was on the phone making phone calls, telling the victim that he'd like to invite a friend over. When he invites that friend over, Your Honor, that's two other individuals. He loosely knows one of the males. Once the individuals arrive in the apartment, Your Honor, they begin to size up the victim, attack him. Him and his girlfriend are able to flee out the front door of the residence, while the three individuals standing before Your Honor run up to the second floor. The officers happened to be in the area for a car accident that had recently occurred. The victim gave the victim ended up telling officers that he was in the area of, I apologize, Your Honor. They fled in the area of 18 Center Street. Officers do see all three of these individuals walking together. They attempt to approach the three young men. A foot chase ensues. Officers are running after Mr. Khalifa. Officer appears to have a weapon being drawn. He fires, hits Mr. Khalifa in the shoulder area. Medics were called for assistance. Officers did treat Mr. Khalifa on scene. Officers were then able to take the other two defendants into custody. Essentially, Your Honor, Mr. Shepard's role in this appears to be that he set up the victim in this case, called these other two individuals, and acted as a lookout during the incident. Some of this, it is mentioned in the report, Your Honor, individuals are seen coming to the property on camera. Officers are able to identify all three parties, given their clothing from that surveillance video. I have not had an opportunity to view that video yet, but it is mentioned in the report. There's a very detailed mention of what the individuals are wearing. They're also able to speak with the victim and match up those the description with the individuals found on tape and the individuals that are later found on scene, Your Honor, and arrested. So, Your Honor, given the facts of this case, Your Honor, it's an extremely serious case. They do find a firearm on Mr. Khalifa once after he's apprehended in the area. There was also mentioned in the report that the firearm was used and threatened to the named victim in this case to attempt to gain control over him and his girlfriend in the house. Well, it appears to be some sort of a robbery, Your Honor, or attempted robbery. So given those reasons, Your Honor, this is the reason for my failure request.
So on both Shepard and Khalifa, you're requesting that their release be revoked on the Springfield cases based on these cases?
That's correct, Your Honor.
So, Josh,
Your Honor, in regard to Mr. Khalifa, he's 20 years old, he's attending high school, he has strong ties to the community. He has no other record before the court other than that open charge out of Springfield, and I would suggest that charge out of Springfield is not a crime of violence, Your Honor. Based upon that, based upon the situation, I would ask you not revoke his bail in regard to that case.
Andrea Benedict, I don't know if this is right, I'm sure I missed it.
It's totally fine.
I didn't give you an opportunity to address the home invasion portion. So if you'd like to address that portion as well for the motion to revoke his release on the Springfield case.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, they had given me the facts on the unarmed robbery.
Yes, we're not going to address the home invasion.
And so Howell is also requesting that there be a dangerousness hearing. How will they able to go forward on that day? Are we looking for another day?
Your Honor, I believe we're looking for another day. We do need to have attorneys appointed to at least two of the defendants. Attorney Rosemont is going to rule.
No, she can handle one.
Yes, she can handle the one, but the other two parties, I believe they're looking for 7-day date.
12/11, Your Honor, December 11th.
CPCS can
You're-
handle.
Yes, Your Honor, I just personally cannot handle it, but somebody from our office can.
So you're seeking a 7-day date?
Yes.
So that would be next, what, Tuesday? The 11th?
Yes.
And so on Paul's motion to hold a pretrial detention hearing, I'm allowing them to be held without the right to bail. We'll have the hearing on the dangerousness next week, the 11th. In regard to Commonwealth's motion to revoke his release on Mr. Shepard, I am allowing the motion to revoke. It is a 90-day revocation, which technically would bring us to March 3rd, but that's a Sunday, so it has to be the Friday before, so it's March 1st with the Springfield bail date on his case, so he is held on the Springfield case. On Mr. Khalifa, I am allowing the Commonwealth's motion to revoke his release on the Springfield case as well. It's a 90-day revocation, which again brings us to March 1st to Friday. So that's the bail date in Springfield would be March 1st.
I'll inform his attorney, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Springfield should be getting a copy of these findings as well. And all three are held without the right to bail pending the 58A next Tuesday. And so Mr. Khalifa, he'll need to have a lawyer attorney appointed.
Thank you.
Now, I am also, Mr. Shepherd, on the unarmed robbery, bail is currently set at $10,000 cash, $200,000 surety. He does have a right to a bail review in Superior Court. All three, if you are released and commit any new offenses while on release, your release could be revoked. It could be held without the right to bail up to the date of trial. Next court date is December 11th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.